Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, Further Inquiries by Vidura. Text number 42. Sri Sutha Uvacha Saitham Aprishta Purana Kalpaha Guru Pradhanena Muni Pradhanaha Pravritta Harso Bhagavat Rathayam Sanchoditastam Prahasan Ivaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sutadev Goswami said, "Thus the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about describing topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas. Being so infused by Vidura, he was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Great learned sages like Maitreya Muni are always very enthusiastic about describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Maitreya Muni, being thus invited by Vidura to speak, appeared to be smiling because he actually felt transcendental bliss. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So this is the last verse of the chapter titled Further Inquiries by Vidura. So in the last 41 shlokas we have seen Vidura asking Maitreya Muni, who is referred to as Muni Pradhanaha, is the chief of the sages. Muni Pradhana. And who is Vidura, who is asking all these questions, inquiries, is referred to as Kuru Pradhanena, by Pradhana, by one of the chief personalities in the Kuru dynasty. So Kuru Pradhana is asking questions to the Muni Pradhana. So after these inquiries, the conversation moves back to the conversation between Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So here we see Sri Shuka Vacha. Shukadev Goswami is explaining the reaction of Maitreya Muni. After hearing the questions of Vidura, what was the response of Maitreya Muni? Sa ittam aprushta, he was thus questioned by Vidura, Purana Kalpaha. Maitreya Rishi, he knows how to explain Puranas. Purana Kalpaha. And then Pravruddha Harsho became very enthusiastic. Pravruddha means enhancement. He is extremely satisfied. So by hearing the questions of Vidura, Maitreya Rishi got enlivened, very enthusiastic. Why? Because Bhagavad Kathayam Sanchodita, he got an opportunity to explain about Bhagavad Katha, the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Kathayam Sanchodita, inspired by or questioned by or infused by Vidura, tam prahasan iva aha, he was actually smiling. Tam prahasan, is so happy, you can see on his face that he is actually smiling. Prabhupada writes in the purport, he is smiling because he is actually felt transcendental bliss. The very thought that I have been asked to explain Bhagavad Kathayam, that very thought made Maitreya Muni to smile and be very happy to explain these activities. So we will see in the next chapter, Maitreya Rishi starts answering the inquiries of Vidura, and these answers are nothing but description about Purana Kalpaha. These are all descriptions from various Puranas, from the Vedas. Maitreya Rishi, he answers the questions by Vidura. So the important point is that when an opportunity for preaching is available, a preacher becomes very happy. If somebody asks him a question about Krishna, he becomes very enthusiastic to explain. So this, if somebody chants nicely, the result is that he becomes very enthusiastic to serve. This is the test. If somebody really chanted and hears, the first thing that you see him is that he becomes very enthusiastic to serve. So those services are all preaching. All services within this organization, they're all preaching. And particularly if somebody asks about Krishna, he becomes very happy to explain the Bhagavad Kathaya. Why? Of course, Maitreya Rishi is a liberated personality. So he became smiling. He started smiling. So Prabhupada explains that these Kathayams are full of bliss. There is transcendental bliss in hearing and explaining these activities of the Supreme Lord. Krishna is complete bliss. He is complete knowledge. He is pure knowledge. And he is permanent. So that is explained as Sat, Chit and Ananda. He is an ocean of bliss. And the activities that he performs, they are also completely blissful. It may be killing of a demon, or it could be dancing with happiness. So anybody who starts associating with these activities, any devotee who starts associating with the Supreme Lord, how? By hearing and explaining. Just by hearing and explaining, we start associating with these leelas, with these transcendental activities, with Krishna. So, as the devotee goes on hearing and explaining, gradually he develops transcendental bliss. Gradually he also enjoys explaining these stories, explaining these kathas. Actually, we see this in Prabhupada's life. Whenever he used to go to any place, devotees would organize various preaching programs. And then Prabhupada would get ready, and then he used to go to one preaching program after one more. Continuously used. Like one devotee was recollecting, Prabhupada travels, it's a long distance, he travels by flight, and he comes to that place, and he goes for some program to explain about Krishna, explain about transcendental activities of Krishna, Krishna Katha, and then there is one more program comes up at 11 o'clock in the night. And then he was thinking, my God, Prabhupada traveled so much, already he would have been tired. So should I ask about this preaching opportunity or not? Finally, somehow he makes up his mind and approaches Prabhupada and says, Prabhupada, so there is a radio show at 11 o'clock. Prabhupada says, okay, how many people attend this? Then he says, there will be millions here listening to this. He says, let's go. And then he says, no, Prabhupada, you have come all the way, you traveled, you are tired, you must be tired. I don't want to take advantage of your presence here. And Prabhupada says, don't worry. And then he goes to the program, radio program, and he addresses the audience. Actually, Prabhupada never felt tired. If there is a preaching opportunity, he has so much of energy. He never felt tired. He used to go and preach to the people. And sometimes disciples will say, thousands will come, hundreds will come, and then only some 30, 40 will come. And sometimes 20 will come. But you see, Prabhupada never gets disappointed. He continues to preach, whether it is 2-3 people, whether it is hundreds and thousands. In India, disciples organized these Pandal programs in Mumbai, in Hyderabad. Thousands would come. Daily 25,000, 30,000 people would come. And then when Prabhupada addresses the audience, there will be thousands sitting and listening. So Prabhupada has seen that. Prabhupada also seen where they thought 100 people will come, and you will see sometimes 1 person, 2 persons would come in the Western countries. So, but Pravruddha Harsha, Prabhupada, you see, he is very enthusiastic. Actually, without enthusiasm, there is no chance of spiritual life. Krishna consciousness, spiritual life means one has to be very enthusiastic. Yes, I want to do this service. Yes, I want to preach. Now, what kind of an enthusiasm? Prabhupada gives an example of a businessman earning money. So, if you talk to a successful business person who is earning a lot of money, you go and ask him, see, look, there is one more opportunity here. And then what will be the response of that businessman? Immediately he will catch on to that opportunity. He'll say, yes, let me go there. Let me start one more branch. Let me start one more business venture. That's what he is. He will not be thinking, no, I am only one person. How can I do this? No need. It's okay. Let us leave this opportunity. You can go to some other businessman and give that opportunity. He will never say that. Continuously he will be, snatching those, lapping onto those opportunities. So similarly, a devotee means he is, if some more service is being offered, one more service or one more, so a devotee immediately latches on to doing that one more service. Not that, so much service I am doing from the morning and suddenly one more service has come to me. So, how can I do this? No. One should be Pravruddha Harsha. He becomes more enthusiastic. Yes, I want to do one more. Jai Radha Govinda ki jai. Sanchoditaha, infused. Here Vidura is asking questions, so he is infusing that enthusiasm. So similarly, somebody will come to you and say, do one more service. Actually, he is infusing. One more opportunity is infusing in your life. But generally we become very upset with him. See, so much I am working on one more service. But here, you see, he is very happy with Vidura. Actually, we will see his answers in the next shloka. Maitreya Muni glorifies Vidura. Oh, you are so nice. You have given me one more opportunity to talk on the transcendental activities of the Lord. You are so wonderful. You will see, he glorifies Vidura first of all. Although he is a spiritual master, Vidura is a disciple, but still he glorifies the disciple. You see this tradition only in Vaishnavism. In Vaishnava Sampradaya, a spiritual master congratulates and thanks the disciple because he has been given one more opportunity to serve Krishna. This is the mood of the devotees. So here, Sanchodita Prahasan is not answering grudgingly. Oh, one more question. So many questions you have asked. Hours have passed by. Now one more question. Some more questions. No. Prahasanneva is actually smiling. He is not asking, bring me one more plate of some prasad or something. Already my mouth is dried up. How can I go on answering your question? He is not saying. He is very happy. So this is spiritual life, spiritual energy. If somebody is really absorbed in service, chanting and hearing, if he really hears, if he really serves nicely, actually he gets spiritual energy. He is working under the shelter of spiritual energy. Middle energy means tiredness, boring, no happiness. This is material energy. Spiritual energy means encouraging. Pravruddha harsha becomes very enthusiastic and he wants to, and he will be smiling and moving around, doing more and more, more and more. So, particularly in our movement, devotees have to be very enthusiastic to preach. If there is an opportunity to preach, smiling, happy, and you should go and preach. Yes, I am ready. One class after another class. He should not say, no, I don't want to. Real humility means how I can preach more and more. This is real humility. Artificial humility means, no, I don't want to. I cannot preach. This is artificial humility. Real humility means he is ready to preach more and more. Sanchoditaha. What do I know to preach? I'm not very qualified, so let me not. No. Humility means one should be Guru Sevi. That means a servant of the spiritual master. There are three terms here. Guru Sevi, then Guru Bhogi, he wants to enjoy Guru's facilities. And then there is, he wants to serve, or he wants to, one more is what? Guru Tyagi, he gives up the order of Guru. Guru's order is what? Preach. And he has shown by his personal example, preach, go on preaching, take advantage of the opportunities. Now there are online opportunities are available, technology is there. Simply you announce some topic, somebody will come, maybe 2 people, 3 people, somebody will come, just repeat what you heard. No, I am not qualified to preach. Then we will become Guru Tyagi. One has to be Guru Sevi. Yes, I am not qualified, that's fine, but Guru is asking me to preach. That's all. On the order of the spiritual master, I will preach, that's all. Whether I am qualified or not qualified, that's a different. There is one pastime where Prabhupada is asking Harikesh Maharaj to go and preach. And that place is some, very corner, some place, some new place. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also like that. He told his associates, go here, go there, preach. He told Rupa, Sanatana to go to Vrindavan, excavate the places and you preach there, write books. Like that he has assigned some services to these associates and sent them to various places. Chaitanya Charitamrita says such places should be taken as Prabhupada Desha, the places that are assigned, allocated for me, the service that is allocated for me, I have to preach. I have to take that as Prabhupada. Datta. In Telugu, Dattata means you have adopted. You have adopted the place and to preach. Not for enjoying, not for exploitation, but to preach. So, an opportunity is given, a a place of service is been given, one has to be very eager. Yes, I have to take up this and then preach. So, preaching Bhagavad Kathayam, the transcendental activities of the Lord, they are very prahasanniva. They can actually give us the transcendental bliss. Of course, sometimes we feel very enthusiastic to preach. Sometimes we may not feel so much enthusiastic, because that is our current condition. As long as anarthas are there in the mind, in the heart, sometimes we will be very enthusiastic and sometimes we will not be very enthusiastic. That ups and downs will be there. But then what is our inspiration to preach then? That Prabhupada Desha. The inspiration is order of the spiritual master. My Guru has told me, so I have to do it. Then you will get inspiration, then you will get all the... So here, in one place, Sridhar Swami, one of the original commentators of Srimad Bhagavatam in our parampara, he composes a nice verse, and then where he says, "O all merciful spiritual master, representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Spiritual master has to be seen as an intimate representative of the Supreme Personality. When will my mind be completely surrendered unto your lotus feet? This is the prayer to the spiritual master. What is that? When will my mind be completely surrendered unto your lotus feet? At that time, only by your mercy, I shall be able to get relief from all obstacles to spiritual life. Sometimes we feel there are too many obstacles, not able to move an inch, not able to proceed further, not able to progress. We feel like that. So Sridhar Swami is saying how we should pray to the spiritual master. So he is asking, when will my mind be completely surrendered unto your lotus feet? At that time, by your mercy, all these obstacles will be relieved, removed from my life, and I shall be situated in blissful life. Now this is the secret to get bliss. What is that? When our mind is completely attached to, surrendered unto the lotus feet of spiritual master. What is the meaning? Yes, one is to meditate on the lotus feet of the spiritual master. That is good. But really the surrenderance means how we can take this movement to as many people as possible. Real surrenderance means how I can preach this message. Prabhupada wanted me to do this. So if somebody takes the order of the spiritual master very seriously and try to execute that order as much as possible, then how will Krishna see this? If you try to take up Guru's order, how will Krishna see this? Now Krishna explains himself. Very interesting. He sees as the super soul of the living entities sitting in everyone's heart. Krishna is present in everyone's heart as the super soul. He is present. So he is saying, as super soul, I observe everyone's activity in every stage and order of life. In every stage. We may be in deep trouble, we may be having a lot of obstacles and this and that, every stage. So Krishna is saying, I observe everyone's activity, regardless of which stage one is in. Now Krishna is saying, you may be in whatever stage. Regardless of whatever stage one is in, when I see that one is engaged seriously and sincerely in discharging the duties ordered by the spiritual master. Now Krishna is saying, Krishna is observing not only devotees' activities, he is observing everybody's activities. all living entities' activity. Anumanta upadrashta is an observer. 13th chapter he says that. Shadrajnam chapimam vidhi. The other day Maharaj is also mentioning this cha. One little word, Sanskrit word, that cha, means that he is also present along with the jivatma in the heart. Along with the soul, super soul is also present and is observing the activities. So when he sees that somebody is engaged seriously and sincerely, these are the two qualifications. It doesn't matter what is the material qualification, whether he is educated or not educated, one has to be serious and sincere. Then in discharging the duties ordered by the spiritual master, then what happens? And is thus dedicating his life to the service of the spiritual master, that person becomes most dear to me. So Krishna is saying, who becomes most dear? If somebody is sincerely and seriously executing the orders of the spiritual. It doesn't matter whatever is the stage, whatever may be the condition. People are not cooperating, or I am having health issues, I am having opposition, I am having this, I am having that. There could be innumerable reasons for the mind to tell us not to do anything. This is called lethargy. We don't want to serve, we don't want to cooperate. There could be innumerable issues. But Krishna is saying, I observe all this and I know what kind of a stage exactly he is in. Actually, only Krishna understands what is our real difficulty. Nobody else will be able to understand. If you can explain, then other person may understand. And of course, if you explain to one more devotee, devotees can understand to a little deeper level. But finally, only Krishna knows our actual situation, because he is observing us. So, those, and he is saying, whatever stage you may be in, because Krishna understands that. But if you are enthusiastic to execute the order and dedicate your time and energy, dedicating life means your time and energy for executing this order of the spiritual master, then he says, he becomes very dear. You want to become very dear to Krishna? This is the formula. The Supreme Personality of Godhead will be smiling on you if you try to execute the orders of the spiritual master. And for that we need to pray to Guru, offer our prayers. When will my mind be attached to your instructions, your orders? When will my mind be very focused on it? Only at that time all my challenges will be removed from my life. And then if I execute the orders of the spiritual master, then I will be able to enjoy the blissful life. Okay, so any kind of a thinking which is opposing service or which is opposing preaching, that is Maya. You may have a great reason why we are not preaching, or why I am not doing some service, or why I am not being very enthusiastic, why I am not trying to cooperate or enhance the services or push on this movement. We may have a lot of reasons and calculations, apparently sometimes based on Shastra also. But then anything that is stopping you from executing the order of the spiritual master, that is actually not Shastra. That is Maya. So that's why one has to be very vigilant, see how much enthusiastic he is to serve. And Prabhupada says in one place, if somebody chants nicely his rounds and hears, then automatically he becomes very, very enthusiastic. So let us not lose this opportunity. Enthusiastic, the way a businessman is very enthusiastic to accumulate more and more money. More and more money. Similarly, devotee, he is very enthusiastic to accumulate more and more services in his account. more service, more chanting, more rounds, more reading. Any opportunity he takes very gladly. He thanks those people who gave that opportunities. He becomes grateful to Guru. He becomes very happy, and then smilingly he does his services. So these are the some of the points that we can understand from this purport. Any questions? Yeah.
From executing our service, whatever stops, it's Maya. You told sometimes it may be based on the Shastra also. What is the example, Prabhu?
Same, I mentioned in the class, humility. I am not qualified. I don't have any. I am so fallen. Maybe that is true. He is seeing himself as fallen. What qualifications I have? I have so many anadhas in my heart. How can I glorify Krishna? Yeah, so after realizing that reality, now how to move from that reality? How to enhance my spiritual life? How can I come out of the anadha? That is possible only by rendering services. So he has to conclude properly. He should think that yes, I am fallen very much, and so let me nicely do service. More enthusiastically let me do service. Enthusiasm is actually in your hand. You can, even if you think it is artificial, doesn't matter. Artificial also no problem. You become enthusiastic and serve Krishna's service. So if something is stopping us, that means his philosophical conclusions and his understanding of Shastra or whatever is not up to the mark. So apparently on the basis of Shastra it appears to him that it is, so let me not preach. So that is not good. One has to follow the order, whatever may be his calculation. Actually, I have not completed that pastime. Harikesh Maharaj, he sends him to some place for preaching, some obscure place it is. And Harikesh Maharaj says, no, how can I go there? There is no association. Prabhupada says, forget about this association. Go and preach. My order. Prabhupada's order has to be followed. Then he says, Prabhupada, I may not get prasadam there. Forget about it. Go there. And not only that, I may not get prasadam, I may not even get vegetarian food. I may have to eat meat. Doesn't matter. Go. Eat whatever you want. Preach. He says, no, if I eat meat and all that, I'll fall down. My consciousness will be polluted. Hell with your consciousness. Go and preach. Prabhupada knows, if he follows the order of Guru, that gives the purification. Rest of the things are all external. You see? Why? Krishna is saying personally, how sincerely, how seriously you are following the order of Guru. That's what I see. Krishna is interested to see how much the disciple is following. Then he becomes very dear to Krishna. The Supreme Personality of God. If you want to become dear to Krishna, this is the formula. Keep out all the considerations. Nicely, sincerely I have to execute the order. Of course, it doesn't mean that we have to break all the principles. The story and the memory, whatever that is told here, Harikesh Maharaj, what it means that Guru's order takes the prominence. You may be in very unfortunate conditions, doesn't matter. Your goal should be how I can execute that order. How? Keep praying to Prabhupada, keep praying to Krishna, you will get the strength. You will get the strength and then jump into the service. Don't think too much. Order has been given, execute, that's all. Many times we try to consider the order. Is that order okay? Shall I do this and that? You need not have to calculate about what is the order. Guru's order is available, just simply have to jump and do. That's all. How to do nicely? Yes, take help of the Vaishnavas, the senior Vaishnavas, authorities, take their support, execute the order nicely, and then that will please Guru and Krishna. This is our life. Okay, so that's what I mean when I said apparently it looks shastric, but somewhere he has gone away. How do you come to know that he has wrongly calculated? Just see that if there is an opposition in his mind, either to preach or to do some seva, to do some order of Prabhupada, that means calculation is not correct. So that's why we should be very careful, ensure that Guru's order is always maintained. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.